Great,
Got it?
thank you. Thanks everyone. I'm Adrienne Galway. I'm the President and CEO of the Ontario Council on Articulation and Transfer. I'm sitting in my office in Toronto, and would like to acknowledge that ONCAT is located on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. I'd also like to acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and continues to be the home of many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. You can advance to the next slide, Svan. For those of you who don't know ONCAT, we are an independent, not-for-profit organization funded by the Government of Ontario, and we work with all publicly assisted colleges, universities, and Indigenous institutes to help learners have their previous learning, whether gained through experience or school, count towards further study. And our board includes representatives from colleges, universities, IIs, and the community. You can go to the next slide.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. So we do four things. We operate on transfer.ca. That's our student-facing portal that helps learners understand credit equivalencies if they're looking to transfer, to explore pathway agreements. We fund projects that enhance learner mobility. So we funded a number of projects in PLAR and other areas, military-connected learning, at institutions or projects that help institutions collaborate. We also conduct research into learner mobility to help inform institutional and government policy. And what I'm really here to speak to you about today is we play a role in driving system efficiencies through shared tools and best practices. Yes, thanks. The other organization that we're working with on this particular project is Ontario Learn. And I'll give you a brief overview of this very under-the-radar organization that does incredible work. You can switch to the next slide. So Ontario Learn is a child of the Ontario college sector, the 24 publicly assisted colleges in the province. They've been around for about 30 years. And what they do is the colleges got together and determined that there are certain courses where it doesn't make sense for 24 colleges to develop the course and offer the course online when one college could offer that course and students from all across the province could enroll in it and have it seamlessly count on their transcript as part of their program. So all of the equivalency is all a moot point because this course allows students to seamlessly enroll. So it's worked really, really well. They have about over 78,000 enrollments a year. The students are very successful. It retains about a 91% retention rate, 92% success rate. And it is really a model of collaboration and a coordination among the college sector where everybody got together and said, yes, doesn't matter what college you're at. If you're a student at Sioux College, you need an accounting course. Humber's offering the accounting course at Ontario Learn. You can register and take that course and count it on your transcript. You go to the next slide. Just a quick overview of how Ontario Learn works. The host institution develops the curriculum and delivers the course. Ontario Learn has two LMS platforms. They manage the online facilitator, they share the course information and the outlines, and they provide the final grades through a grade module. The registering institution, they select and promote the course, so they decide out of that catalog which courses will be available to their students. That registering institution, so the student's home institution is the way to think about it, they register the student, they collect the tuition fee, they provide the textbook information, and they process the grades, pay fees to support the host institution and Ontario Learn. And the tuition fee is essentially shared between the host institution and the registering institution. And every month, there's sort of a financial reconciliation because some months you may be sending more students out to take courses from other institutions than you're bringing in which case you would be paying out, or maybe you've registered more people, so you've made money that month, or it's a wash, and it's sort of a balanced equation. So that's the second partner in this project. So Dawn, you can go to the next slide. So last year, we conducted two viability studies to look at how that Ontario Learn platform could be better leveraged for student mobility. So one project looked at essentially using that platform for university courses, which is another project we're working on. And then the other project was, could we use this collaborative existing framework, technological platform to centralize PLAR assessment and administration? What we were really interested in doing is reducing application costs and waiting time for students. And then secondly, to streamline administrative processes and minimize duplication of services for post-secondary institutions. So really incentivizing the cost-effective expansion of PLAR-eligible programs and courses. So rather than 24 colleges developing a challenge exam for a particular course, could we have this done in a centralized way? Could we leverage those assets for the benefit of the whole system? So you can go to the next slide. So this report, we released it publicly last month, and it's available on the oncat.ca website under reports and resources. And you can go to the next slide. And the key findings, especially at 4:15 on a day of recognition of prior learning, I don't think these will be new findings for this group, but the barriers sort of to PLAR utilization in Ontario colleges, which are mandated to do PLAR in their enabling legislation, but there are still challenges around low awareness and accessibility for learners. There's institutional inconsistency across the system, lengthy timelines and financial barriers. Often the course is running and the student is still waiting for a decision about whether they're going to get a PLAR credit for it. There is a limited credit portability. So it may be given a PLAR credit at one institution that does not necessarily get credit at the next institution if the student transfers. Institutions tend to view this as resource intensive with unclear returns. And people aren't particularly well trained to actually do a PLAR assessment. Challenges, especially right now in the system, with finances and resourcing these things, and disincentives. So there had been a perception that if you give somebody a PLAR credit, you lose that tuition, and we were really trying to flip that thinking about PLAR can be a strategic enrollment driver. You can get to the next slide. Thanks. So a few key recommendations came out of the viability study. One was to really employ an equity and user-centered design. So whatever tool we come up with has to have an equity focus and ensure accessibility and fairness for diverse learners. Proactive advising and alignment. So a successful system aligns with workforce needs and embeds advising to support learners' pathways effectively. Again, what we've really been thinking about a lot with this project is centralization for efficiency. So the centralization of processes can ensure consistency and improve our operational efficiency across institutions. And finally, the role of technology. So how can we leverage technology to streamline these PLAR processes and reduce that often manual effort that's happening at institutions? Go to the next slide. So our vision is a centralized digital platform for PLAR assessment and credit recognition that connects ONCAT's mandate around learner mobility, but is powered by the robust backbone of Ontario Learn. This would streamline processes, centralize resources, and provide transparent PLAR pathways for learners at Ontario public colleges. And the goal is to accelerate educational progress, support lifelong learning, and improve mobility across institutions. And the key deliverable for us is for learners. So it's faster, fair recognition, uniform standards, reduced redundancy. And for the province, and why government is so keen on endorsing this project, is to help create some more responsive, cost-effective system aligned with workforce needs. Can move to the next slide. Go on. And a little bit more about why we think Ontario Learn is going to be such an important partner in this. One, it's been around for 30 years, so it has a proven track record in uniting Ontario colleges in a collaborative, flexible online learning network. Ontario colleges tend to be very collaborative, which is great. And we already have this existing model of collaboration that we can leverage. They've enabled this course sharing across the province, which has expanded program options and streamlined delivery. And they have a revenue model system and robust technical infrastructure that's been in existence for 30 years. So we know this works, and institutions are familiar with it. And Ontario Learn is really well suited for PLAR because it's serving pretty much the same type of learner that we expect will be availing themselves of the PLAR process. It's majority adult learners, working professionals, and newcomers. So there's already this familiarity with the platform. And they've got a very strong governance network and framework that works really well for them. So they feel like they are the natural partner for this kind of initiative. The next slide, please. So this is our features wish list. We are not going to roll all of these things out in the first phase of the project. But in our dream state, this is what we're hoping to have. So it will be a one-stop learner portal. It will be the single province-endorsed entry point. There'll be a guided self-assessment with instant credit estimates. This will be aligned with the workforce and workforce needs. So built into those program maps, we're proposing that we will start with high demand programs, trades, probably early childhood educators, PSW. The provincial credit bank is would also reside within this platform. So all of that non-formal learning, things offered by employers, perhaps the military connected learning piece where a military record has already been assessed, that will already be pre-populated into the tool. The fourth thing on the wish list is a shared assessor pool and academy. So we would have a province-wide roster of trained assessors. So it's centrally coordinated and standardized. Advising and preparation service. So we would help students both through AI tools and human interaction to help students prepare for a PLAR assessment. And then really these streamlined processes in automation. There's some really interesting digital AI-enabled tools on the market right now. Rather than 24 colleges experimenting with them, this would be a centralized way of testing out some of these tools. We're looking for system-wide rubrics for quality assurance and standards. So we know that PLAR assessment is going to be respected and validated at all the partner institutions. And in our dream state, we will have interagency coordination on this. So ideally, when a student goes to apply to a college program, right on the common application service that we have in Ontario, there will be a button saying you may be already eligible for credit in your program, and that will be seamlessly integrated with what we're hoping to do. So it is an ambitious wish list. We will not get to all 8 of these by the end of March of 2027, but that is our long-term term vision. You can go to the next slide, Dawn. So we have been directed by government to develop a prototype by March 31st. So we've got our marching orders, and they're certainly ambitious and also very clear. We are currently in the pilot project scoping phase. And just today, I concluded interviews for a project director that will lead this this work. And then we anticipate that by late summer, we will have a working group kickoff for the project. So that is it in a nutshell, and I'm happy to take any questions, and really to hear any feedback on what jumps out, what you think we might have wrong at this point, or need to think about. That would be very useful as we scope out our project.
Great. Wow, Adrienne, careful what you ask for. You might get it, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. So as always, have a number of questions, but I encourage others to drop your questions into. There's one from Judy. What is the plan to get buy-in from all colleges to recognize the assessments being done by this centralized service? Also, how will these integrate with individual SIS systems?
So great questions, Judy. We're going to start with a coalition of the willing in terms of the first phase of this. So we will have colleges participating that will be part of the work of of governance to get that acceptance of those assessments. I think, much like equivalency, course equivalency, I would think it's going to be hard for a college down the road to say why they wouldn't accept a PLAR assessment done by a qualified assessor, looking at demonstrating, evaluating the demonstration of competencies of a student. So we trust that the college system will come along with that, as they have on credit equivalency. But our plan is to start with the coalition of the willing. Integration with SIS systems, I think that's beyond the scope of our first phase of this project. It will focus on that one centralized portal for students, and then integration with SIS is outside this phase at this point.
Right. So unfortunately, we've come to 25 after. So thank you very much for this. I encourage you to think about EPIC Canada, September 28th, 29th in Ottawa. Mark your calendar. I'd love to see this play out there as well and get people more engaged in it. So